Thank you, Mr. Chair. I enjoyed our meeting in our office. You're entering into an area of the economy. Warren Buffett calls it the tapeworm on the economy. I'm recently a CEO, and biggest challenge was how to control healthcare costs. And I know you don't get involved in that, but I think part of what I'm looking for, and with science and fact-based, it's like taking a risk and changing the paradigm. So often I see the FDA, I see the HHS have been stodgy, part of the problem. We've evolved to where the healthcare system is broken. And every opportunity I get to say it publicly, I blame it on the industry. So in your own way, when it comes to the other sectors, hospitals, insurance, practitioners, pharma will be what you focus on. And I look at a particular issue of methodology, and I want to focus in, and Senator Murphy mentioned it a moment ago, on diseases like ALS, DMD, where no real good remedies, narrow windows of survival once you're diagnosed. Why would we be sticking with the old ways of doing things? And are you going to feel like any CEO would in running a business where you actually excel and do well when you take risks and stick your neck out? And in this case, why wouldn't you want to change the process to advance drugs and therapies and treatments for diseases that have nothing going on for them?
Senator, I really appreciate our conversation, and you, with your business background, presented me with incredible pragmatic and interesting observations about the way the world works with respect to insurance and medical care. So I appreciate that very much. My experience at MD Anderson is with a large bureaucratic organization. I understand what you're saying about risk aversion. It's always a balance between making sure we ensure the safety of our patients and get the best treatments to them, while at the same time making advances. My colleagues at MD Anderson say that the most risk-free clinical trial is one that doesn't happen. And of course, that's a really bad thing for patients because we aren't able to figure out what's the right treatment for them. So, sir, I do believe this is a balance. I do believe that we have to accelerate innovation and get those products into the hands of patients and the American people and the providers. And I very much appreciate your perspective and look forward to working with you on this subject.
That's good. Next week, I'm introducing a conditional approval bill where drugs could be provisionally approved after receiving promising early-stage data. Could be transformational in my mind to address some of these diseases that have no cures, nothing really working well. The FDA could grant limited marketing authorization to new drugs after successful phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials, establishing safety and a reasonable expectation of effectiveness, allowing patients in need of a treatment to benefit while allowing companies to generate a modest amount of revenue to help fund phase 3 trials. Does that sound like something that would be in your entrepreneurial framework heading this agency? Is that something that you think makes sense?
Senator, I'm always willing to hear about science and data and new approaches. My career's been in clinical trials and clinical trial design and understanding the novel approaches that we can use. I think it's important to expedite and to have innovation reach patients as quickly as possible. I do want to make sure that these approaches are validated so that we don't make huge mistakes that hurt patients, but I am open to conversation about all of those.
Rest assured, after your confirmation, I'll be getting with you. Drug importation, all of the things you can do at the FDA. Pharma is probably the most focused on place because everybody's involved with it. I know as representing the only financial stakeholder in healthcare, that would be the private insurance sector and the employers that pay all the bills, that subsidize low prices across the rest of the world. I would hope that you'll look at anything that, even though I know you can't get into pricing, but you can control some of the structure and processes. Drug prices and the fact that, listened to Senator Merkley a couple Thursdays ago highlighting an insulin drug, sells for $343 here, and averages is about $50 across 6 other countries. I know you can't do anything about the mechanics that have evolved in such a way to give us such poor results, But what about using the agency to speed up the process of getting drugs that are being produced elsewhere into this country and change the paradigm that has made that so clumsy, and then calling out the drug companies that in many cases do everything they can to restrict the process, including biologics?
Senator, as you point out, there are indirect things that FDA can do in this really important issue. Not a week goes by when I see a patient who doesn't comment on the stress, financial toxicity is how people refer to it, of high prescription drug prices. And the American people want urgent action, and I support moving forward with action that makes sense. With respect to drug importation, as you know, the Secretary has the power under Section 804 to certify to Congress that importation will reduce costs to American people and that it's safe and does not introduce additional risks. FDA's role in that is to actually certify the safety and security of the nation's drug supply, which, as you know, is the safest and most secure in the world. And that would be our job, is to look at the data and to
keep
assess
the gold standard there, but be entrepreneurial and push and hold the industry accountable. Thank you.